So while we wait to begin, you can continue to introduce yourselves in the chat. Please enjoy this video showcasing some of the Alight customers, including footage of traditional Burundian drummers and dancers. And we'll see some of the Alight 30th anniversary billboards in the background. So please enjoy.
Joyeux anniversaire de 30 à Alight Rwanda. Isabukuru nziza y'imyaka 30 Alight Rwanda turagukunda.
Alight Rwanda mwarakoze mu kudufasha kwiteza imbere.
Isabukuru nziza ya Alight Rwanda y'imyaka 30 turabakunda cyane.
Alight Rwanda mwarakoze cyane.
Happy 30 years anniversary of Alight Rwanda.
Isabukuru nziza y'imyaka 30 Alight Rwanda.
بمناسبة مرور الذكرى 30 كل عام وأنتم بخير Alight Rwanda.
Hello, everyone. My name is Zainab. I am the communications coordinator at Alight Horn of Africa. I'm joining you today from Nairobi, although I like to consider myself an unofficial member of the Alight Rwanda team. I'm so excited to welcome you to the Alight Global Perspectives webinar. Today, we're celebrating 30 years of impact, which is Alight Rwanda's anniversary celebration. So please note that today's webinar is being recorded. So if you need to step away for a bit, no issue at all. We'll be sharing the recording and all of the resources that you hear about today. Here's what you can expect from today's session. First, I'll be providing an overview of Alight, followed by a special video featuring our Alight Rwanda community. And then we'll be doing some Alight Rwanda trivia to get ourselves warmed up. Then I'll hand over to Eunice Mwende, Alight Rwanda's Executive Director, who will share some insights into Alight Rwanda's impactful work before kicking off a panel discussion we have planned for you today. Following the panel, we'll have a little Q&A and a story sharing forum where you are all invited to share how Alight Rwanda's work has impacted you or offer some well wishes to the Rwanda team and community. Finally, we'll wrap up by discussing how you can stay engaged and what to expect after the webinar. If you have any questions throughout today's session, please drop them in the Zoom chat and we'll address as many of them as we can during the Q&A session. So welcome to Alight. We are so excited to have you join us today. For our webinar series, we blend both internal and external learning. So this format helps us stay updated, on the latest developments and to inspire us in their impactful work. For those who are unfamiliar with Alight, our mission is pretty straightforward. We build meaningful lives for and with the displaced. And although it is a big mission, its simplicity anchors our values and helps us fulfill our promises to communities worldwide. Right now, we are living through the highest level of displacement on record. 1 in every 69 people is on the move, with over 117 million forcibly displaced due to persecution, conflict, violence, and climate change. And that's according to the latest UNHCR stats. And as such, Alight's work has never been more critical. We do take great pride in this purpose that drives us. So when you're interacting with someone from Alight, we want 2 key things to stand out. The first is that our work is grounded in understanding. And the second is that we believe in sharing power and responsibility by working alongside the most affected. We call this co-creation. Next, I'm thrilled to introduce a special anniversary video narrated by Jacques, the creative and partnership activator for Alight Rwanda. You'll see many of our staff, customers, and community members in action, and also get a glimpse into the impact that Alight Rwanda has had on displaced communities over the past 30 years.
Today we are talking about Alight. Why? Because Alight is celebrating 30 years of existence in Rwanda this year. So Alight has been Rwanda since 1994. And Alight started in Rwanda assisting, working together with the government to take care of the returnees, all the Rwandans who flee the country in many years back and who are coming back to Rwanda. Over the past 30 years, as I mentioned, Alight have provided to the displaced people a broad range number of services. This includes health, where we provided primary health care in Nyabiheke, in Mahama and Gihembe refugee camps. That range from primary health care, HIV, treatment and care, sexual and reproductive health for adolescents and so forth, and nutrition program, especially for small children. We have provided protection where we did gender-based violence prevention and response in the community. Also the child protection in some of the camps. We have done intervention in livelihood to build people resilience during difficult time because we saw that the situation is going to be a bit protracted, where people now are learning how to produce mushroom. These are very young girls who became pregnant for some reasons, but then they are getting something to take care of their families. And some of them are making soap. We have soap making teams in Mahama refugee camps, and we taught communities how to do kitchen gardens to produce for their household, but also they can sell the extra production to the market. We have brought part of our livelihood in innovation, which is digital skills provision to the communities, where actually refugees and host community members, they are learning how to code to become software developers, which is actually the technology they acquire, the skills they acquire to be able to apply that in the market that is very much needed. We have provided also life skills such as sewing, where women are learning how to make clothes, and in camps where refugees, Congolese displaced people are, those are like very needed skills and money-making skills to those who acquire those skills. Another livelihood intervention that we Alight have done in Kiziba and Mahama and Nyabiheke is rabbit rearing. This was an intervention to increase the protein production, animal protein for malnourished children, but also any extra production goes to the market to produce money to buy other things that every family would need. But also if you go around all 5 refugee camps, almost 8% of all infrastructure you see around have been constructed by Alight. You name roads, offices, other service buildings like health centers, community centers, and so on. As I mentioned earlier, one of the refugee camps have been here since 30 years. They've been since 1994, that space was open for displaced people. So it makes sense. I myself have met one of our customers. When I asked her, how old are you? She said, I'm 33 years old. It means when she stepped into that space of being a displaced person, she was only 3 years old at that time. And these are people that actually can celebrate with that time of 30 years we have spent here in Rwanda, because they grew up in our hands. If you came and you really enjoyed nutrition services as a child, you go to school, you enjoy other protection services that we offer, and then we go to health center. Alight is there since you were born. It makes sense today when we celebrate. It's not Alight celebrating, it's them celebrating a life path they have gone through in the past 30 years together with Alight. We work here as Rwandan, but we are part of East Africa, and most of the refugees we host are from those countries. And it's a space where you'll find actually Congolese refugees sharing their culture through dance, but also Burundian displaced people sharing their culture through drama, because they are known in the world being the champion of drama. So when you go around, you will see them dancing. Everyone is actually sharing something, is pitching in something positive from their own culture. And actually the result is something, it's a very beautiful picture that you will see when you walk around, and there's nothing that can spark joy as such an event. On this anniversary of 30 years of Alight in Rwanda, we thank the government of Rwanda, our partners and donors. Murakoze cyane, thank you very much. We say hello, hello.
Wow. That was really incredible and really inspiring. Thank you to Jacques and the rest of the Rwanda team who put that together. I'm curious in our audience if there's any initial reactions. Please feel free to drop a couple words in the chat of how you feel after watching that, because for me, it's just very inspiring, so beautiful, uplifting. So many words come to mind. So now to get our minds working a bit more, we're going to test our knowledge about Alight Rwanda with some trivia. So a few questions are going to pop up on your screen. We'll give you about 30 seconds to answer each one, and then we'll reveal the answer. So I hope you guys are ready for a little competition. So our first question is, select all the refugee communities that Alight Rwanda serves. 30 seconds, guys. This is a tricky one because Rwanda is known to be one of the most refugee-friendly countries in the world. Does everyone feel good about their answers? Did we see the answers, guys? To our tech guys in the background. Oh, that was a trick question. It was all of the above. That was the answer. I think we can move on to our second question. Okay, how many refugee camps in Rwanda does Alight operate in? So personally, I've been to 2 of the refugee camps that Alight operates in, but I know that there's more. So let's see. Has everyone locked in their answers? Oh, the answer was 5. Wow, it sounds like most of you got it correct. 47 people got it correct. Okay, this is our third and final question. This one I think is a hard one. What gift did Alight give Eugene, a longtime staff member? And if you recognize Eugene's name, it's because Eugene is one of our panelists today. So I heard the story when I was visiting the Rwanda team last year, but I'm curious what you guys think it'll be. I think we should have a quiz in every webinar. Ooh. For those of you who don't know, Eugene is the longest serving Alight staff member in the Rwanda team. And the answer was a cow. Who got it right? It sounds like about half of our participants got it right. So when I was in Rwanda last year, I heard about this cow, Eugene, and I also heard about how important a cow is in Rwandan culture and how gifting a cow is the ultimate form of friendship and allegiance. And from what I understand, accepting the cow now means Eugene and Alight have a solidified friendship. So that was really great. I think that was a lot of fun. So thank you guys all for participating in that trivia. I hope everybody is warmed up and energized. I will now introduce Eunice Mwende, who will be providing an overview of Alight Rwanda and guiding us through today's webinar. Eunice is the executive director of Alight Rwanda, bringing over 20 years of experience in the humanitarian and development sectors across East Africa. That includes Kenya, Somalia, Uganda, and Rwanda. She's an exceptional leader, dedicated to co-creating solutions for Congolese and Burundian displaced persons residing in 5 camps in Rwanda. Please welcome Eunice. Eunice, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zainab. And thank you very much, friends of Alight and Alight family, for being with us this afternoon. It's a memorable time for us. It's a time that we treasure very much because it represents a journey of 30 years. And those of us who've joined recently in Alight Rwanda, we are honored to have, for the people who've paved the way for us. And we are standing on their shoulders to say, Murakoze Chane, for the amazing work that you have done that has led to Alight's 30-year celebration today. And myself and the colleagues from Alight Rwanda would like to welcome you to this webinar once again as we go through the journey. We will just focus on how beautiful the journey has been. But before that, I would like to just give you a little bit of a hint about some of the sectors of what we have been intervening on. Just for a snapshot, our programs have majorly focused on healthcare implementation. We have reached over 84,000 displaced persons. We call them customers in Alight. And we have helped them to either get better nutrition, to get sexual reproductive health information. And we have really worked with more than 33,000 young mothers and children to be able to be screened for anemia prevention and nutrition services. In addition to that, we have continued with our prevention services on gender-based violence and also on livelihoods and ensuring that those that we serve can be able to sustain their livelihoods through income-generating activities. So it's been a rich journey. I may not do the justice that it deserves by introducing this beautiful journey that myself and the colleagues in Alight Rwanda have walked through. I would like to have a conversation today, and this conversation is going to really be selected on people who have impacted on Alight Rwanda. And I'm pleased very much today to be with a few colleagues and friends of Alight Rwanda. I want to recognize as we start this we start this discussion, I'd like to recognize the presence of the UNHCR rep, Aisatu, who has not only held our hand, but has always been there with us. And before we start our panel discussion, I'm curious to know, Aisatu, if you have 1 or 2 words for Alight Rwanda before we get into the discussion and the panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Good afternoon to the whole Alight team in Rwanda and abroad. I'm so happy to join you here, even if it's a short time. But I really wanted to also say a word. First, to wish a happy anniversary to Alight. It's been a long story. Alight and UNHCR's work when you were called ARC. Now Alight, so it's been more than 30 years that we are together. So I want to again congratulate the whole team, the Rwanda team, who has been excellently partnering with UNHCR. I've been here for 2 years, but I have heard so many things that have been done and is continuing to be done. I think your colleagues, Eunice, have made really, I mean, even if it's not all that has been done, but what just your colleague has highlighted, what you are doing incredibly with the displaced, the forcibly displaced people around the world, specifically in Rwanda, is amazing. But we know that the crisis is still there. There's more to be done, but your achievements really warrant us to stop and just recognize these incredible achievements over the past years, and also the incredible experience that you are bringing in the different sectors that you have talked about, particularly for us, the protection of these people. It is key, it's the core of all what we do. So I'm so happy that we have been able to achieve so much together here in Rwanda. And also the other elements that I wanted really to highlight here is when you talk about co-creation. I think you really symbolize partnership with co-creation. That's something that Alight has been championing here, because we don't need to have this kind of traditional partnership where the financial transactions that direct everything. We want expertise, we want innovation, we want change, and I think you symbolize that. And I'm very happy for that, and I hope that will continue. I know that we are discussing also another joint initiative and creative projects that will open up digital avenues much more, as well as working on mental health. So I look forward really to doing that with Alight. And I want to really be part of the celebration. I will come to your office, maybe not today, and also take my portion of cake for this anniversary. So I wish you all the best and look forward for much more fruitful collaboration. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Aisatu. We value our partnership and we value the contribution of UNHCR for 30 years in the existence of Alight Rwanda. We are blessed to have you. Thank you very much. And so onwards to the panel of today, which is going to be a very interesting discussion. I'd like to introduce 2 gentlemen and 1 lady who will be joining us in this conversation that we're going to have. And first on this list is Filipe Habinshuti, who is the Permanent Secretary of MINEMA, the Ministry of Emergency Management. Filipe has been the Permanent Secretary since January 2022, and he has also served in very senior government positions in the government of Rwanda. We are very happy to have you, Filipe, today. I would also like to welcome Zora, our Chief Marketing and Engagement Officer. Zora serves as an oversight, really supports us in oversight of the organization's private fundraising. She has helped us in partnerships and marketing, and also developing new connections, which we continue to enjoy in Rwanda today. The team that Zora manages determines what we say, how we say it, and who we partner with, which is very rich for us. And this is why in Alight, we don't call them refugees, we call them customers, because we want to really serve them. And Zora has nearly 20 years of experience in social sector, and her highlights in Alight include executive roles in global organizations like Candid, the largest philanthropic infrastructure organization in the world. We are very pleased to have you, Zora, join us today. And lastly, colleagues, I'd like to introduce one of our long-serving colleagues who many of you may know. His name is Eugene Murego. Eugene is a seasoned professional with a bachelor's degree in business management. Eugene actually celebrates 30 years with Alight in Rwanda. He has been in the specialization of finance. He has demonstrated a robust career trajectory, starting from a translator, from what he told me, to a grants manager, and he has now over 30 years experience. Previous to this role, he was a finance manager, and his career began in 1997 as a finance officer. We are very glad to be with you today, Eugene. So to start off our discussion today, I'd like to pose a few questions. Jacques, in his video, mentioned about the history of Alight, which was at that point known as ARC, American Refugee Committee. I'd like us to just jog our minds a little bit in the history and understand how the journey has been. We will do that through the insights of Eugene, our colleague. Eugene, you have mentioned to me interesting stories about how the journey has been when you have been with Alight in Rwanda. Could you please let us in a little bit, share with us how the experience has been? So you have been there for 30 years. Share with us a little bit of how the journey has been.
Thank you, Ines. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you are. I'm honored to be part of this panel on today's special event where Alight Rwanda is celebrating an anniversary of 30 years. The 30 years anniversary for Alight Rwanda, it's a special occasion, more particularly to me, as a person who has been with Alight family called American Refugee Committee for all this long journey. So I'm happy to be here, and what I'm gonna tell you is a true story. As you've seen in the pictures, and even some have highlighted, ARC now, I'm sorry I'll be talking ARC because I'm going back to history. I'm now talking as an American Refugee Committee staff, talking the inceptions and the work done by American Refugee Committee. So basically, American Refugee Committee, ARC, started operating in Rwanda in 1994 after genocide against the Tutsi. So after the war now, there was an influx, a return of some people, some Rwandans who had fled the country, and now they are repatriating, they are coming back to the country. So at that time, many of the things actually have been destroyed. not even infrastructures, even people lost their lives. So where the country was like starting from the scratch. So as they were coming in, it was among other partners who were working with donors, including UNHCR, in partnership with the government of Rwanda, to get these people coming back resettled. So I give, let's say, calling back. I was happy to be part of those who were coming, and I was positioned in the northeastern part of Rwanda, especially for those who are coming from Uganda. So we set up an office there to welcome these people. So ARC was providing essential needs to facilitate their living. They were setting some temporary housings in form of sheetings, which were being provided by UNHCR. We are giving water and other health facilities to make them earn their living. So at that time, a lot has been done because at that time we are mostly dealing with the returnees and the internally displaced persons. So a few years later, Alight positioned itself more in core business of dealing with the refugees, because at that time, now refugees were coming to Rwanda. I think it was like 2 years later, it's in 1996, when the refugee camps were being set. I can give an example of the Congolese refugee camp in Kiziba, where the Congolese were coming to Rwanda. So the Kiziba camp was set. 1 year later, there was the Gihembe camp set. Actually, the Gihembe camp were the refugees who were coming from Mudende. Mudende, it was one of the parts in the settlement in Rwanda, where there were those refugees, and they were removed from Mudende to Gihembe because they were being attacked there. So it's a UNHCR policy that the refugees should not be across the borders. So Gihembe was there, started in 97, and ARC were there. I remember going there personally with my supervisors to set up an office there in Gihembe, which was then Byumba. So after, as refugees keep on coming into Rwanda, then ARC was expanding, because you remember from the internal displaced, we're having an office set in Nyagatare, current Nyagatare district. Later now we went to Gihembe. So it's like other camps like Nyabiheke was set up in 2005. It's like now ARC expanded from, let's say, the ones camp late 94, now up to 5 camps that you've seen countrywide. So with that journey, actually, it's now it was like in a couple of decades where ARC was doing a lot. And really, I'm happy to say and to testify that most of activities which were being done included the setting up, as they mentioned, the sectors which were intervening, including the construction, including water and sanitation, health and nutrition, livelihood, and the GBV. So all those Alight were able to do, irrespective of not enough staff we had, by the way, because at the start, there were a few, we had a problem of personnel. There was less resource in the country because most of ARC, which was American Refugee Committee by that time, were volunteers and international staff.
Eugene, I think you're a bit frozen. Eunice, are you with us?
Yes, I am. We lost electricity for a minute. We'll come back to Eugene as we get back our electricity. I'd like to just move the question to Zora. Zora, what are the key priorities for Alight globally? And how do you see Alight Rwanda fitting into that priority?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, congratulations. This has been one of hopefully many, many celebrations. The Alight Rwanda team, program, customers, it's been such a journey, and it's just so lovely to be a part of this convening. And so congrats to the team for putting it together and creating a moment for celebration. And while there's a lot to be said in terms of priorities for the organization globally, I think that a couple of the videos that were shared earlier today really reflected this art and this approach of co-creation. And so I think from a really broad level, there's two things we're focused on. One of them is insights and another is co-creation. How do we really embed this approach of listening to our customers into our work every single day, not just as an organization and institution, how we work with each other, but also in how we work with our customers to better understand the problems and opportunities that they're identifying, and then to build on those. And so the insights that we're working to develop are going to serve as the fuel for that engine of understanding those needs. I am aware of a study that was most recently published that said that most refugees around the world experience displacement on average for about 17 years. That is a very, very long time. I would say that most individuals that experience displacement don't plan a timeline for their displacement. So knowing that there's opportunity for them and for us, because I've experienced the journey of displacement myself, that there's choice and that there's agency to rebuild, even if you're there in a temporary moment, is incredibly important. And then in some cases, if you're there for a more longer term or permanent occasion, it's important to really lean into co-creation and insights. And in terms of how Alight Rwanda fits into that, if I understood your question correctly, Alight Rwanda is bringing to life co-creation every single day through the work that you're doing. So there's one thing about the approach that I talked about with insights and co-creation. There's another also related to thematic priorities. So we do a lot of work that are servicing our customers in different ways. And so much of our thematic priorities revolve around 5 key areas. There's women and girls. There are livelihood programmings that are coming to life in Rwanda every single day. There's climate displacement. Climate change is the largest source of displacement in the world. There's emergencies that we respond to in real time. And finally, the 5th thematic area that we're focused on is innovation. And so I would say that Alight Rwanda program is one of our very best, especially with innovation and with livelihoods and working with women and girls. And so you're already leading that vision and serving as a great model on how we as an institution can bring our vision and strategy to life through serving our customers. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Zora. And we continue to benefit from some of the connections that you have advanced to Alight Rwanda. Thank you so much. And now to our permanent secretary, Felipe. Felipe, we really value collaborations and partnerships in Alight Rwanda. The government through Minema has been one of the greatest partners of Alight for the 30 years. I'm curious to know what do you think is the impact and the collaboration that Alight and the government of Rwanda can continue to enjoy?
Thank you very much, Anis. And once again, good afternoon to everyone. It's a pleasure to participate in this panel and also to join you while celebrating this 30th anniversary of Alight in Rwanda. So Alight has been collaborating with the government of Rwanda through different institutions including currently Minema, but also the former Ministry of Disaster Management and Refugees, and also the Ministry of Local Government when the refugee portfolio was managed by that ministry. And so the Alight has been working with the government since 1994 for the delivery of humanitarian services for displaced people in Rwanda, including for health, as it was mentioned, nutrition, gender-based violence, prevention, education, shelter, financial inclusion, livelihood, and others. Alight is an operational partner in all refugee camps here in Rwanda, and we as the line ministry, we are so glad of the achievement recorded over the last 30 years. The last 30 years, or the 30 years anniversary of Alight, coinciding with the 30 years anniversary of our country's liberation and the renew from the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, means a lot. It means that Alight has been on the side of Rwanda in rebuilding, in reshaping our socioeconomic structures, but also in giving hope to thousands of Rwandans who were displaced, but later, starting from 1996, to different refugees and asylum seekers that Rwanda accommodated since that time. So coming back to your question, in what ways our collaboration has impacted displaced communities, I can simply answer that it was through finding solutions. For the last 30 years, went, I would say, through 1,000 problems, issues and gaps, shortcomings. So Alight has been on the side of finding solutions. Alight has been able to continuously adjust and adapt to find and apply solutions. You know, the humanitarian sector is set that way. You can't just sit there and say you have been able to plan and you have exhausted all that could happen. So that flexibility, but most importantly, that way of being a solution-based organizations, being a solution-based organization was very instrumental to the humanitarian work here in Rwanda, and we really congratulate Alight and wish Alight to continue being with us in finding solutions and applying them for the coming couple of years, since we are still handling and managing different humanitarian aspects of the response. So I hope I answered your question.
You did very well. Thank you very much.
We might be experiencing a little bit of a lag. So Eunice, if you can hear us, we heard your initial response, but not hearing anything at the moment.
I think that I can actually jump in. So we have one final question that we want to pose to all of our speakers. How can Alight Rwanda's history and legacy shape its future direction? And what is your hope for Rwanda 30 years from today? So that's open to all of our speakers. Maybe we can start with Felipe.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope Ines will be able to join us again. But for your question, the government of Rwanda future initiatives include improvement in health services, different facilities, education, wash, but also providing better livelihood opportunities. As a government, we thought that the better way of providing assistance to our people of concern, our beneficiaries, is to ensure that we have a future, is to ensure that we provide with them with capacities and capabilities that will help them to sustain their futures. So this is where we stand with Alight. We have had discussions on joint programs of livelihood, of graduation, refugee graduation, of self-reliance, and I think the first initiatives are on the way. We believe this is the priority should be looking at, but also on the health aspect, working with the Ministry of Health through a kind of a tripartite agreement. We are also looking to initiate a strong mental health program, because you can't achieve any socioeconomic initiatives without caring for the mental health of our people of concern. So those are, I think, are the new. We will explore, of course, possibilities of continuing with the areas where we have been partnering with Alight, but we want to put a focus on the livelihood, but also bringing or complementing the good achievement we've been having in providing us health solutions. So I think if you can be able to achieve this with Alight, it will be really a very good and nice step to providing services to our people for concern, being the refugees, but also the host community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for stepping in, Zainab, for that. I'd like to just ask one last question to Eugene, who's been there for a long time. Eugene told me a very interesting story about a time when they had an emergency and they had to act very fast. Eugene, would you be able to share with us this very interesting story of how innovative you were back in the day? Thank you. You're muted.
We can't hear anything. Is he speaking?
Well, just a second, please. We'll see how that goes. Technology can be very unreasonable. Yes, please.
Hello?
Eugene, kindly.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
thank you. Sorry, there was a disruption of internet. Okay. Yeah, this story actually I can tell as what I have noticed in this long journey. I remember was a time when the returnees were coming from Tanzania, and they were heading to northeastern part of Rwanda, and Alight was requested, ARC, American Refugee Committee at that time, was requested to coordinate what they called North Corridor. So our health, there was a lady from US called Margaret M. Kraska. She was the head of program and nutrition, and she was coordinator of all NGOs in that North Corridor. So ARC had set some health posts along the road. It's a very long road from border of Tanzania to border of Uganda, Kajitumba. So unfortunately, there was a lady, I would say, who was ready to deliver, and was rushed to our post, our health post. So
the nurse, Margaret, helped her to deliver, but the baby had a problem where she was meant to be forced to a nearby district hospital, which was in Nyagatare. So at that time, the vehicle which we used, we made it an ambulance. And then she told me to take a megaphone, the megaphone which we use for calling people and passing announcements. So she told me to sit along the window next to driver and put the megaphone outside. Then I put my arm outside the car and switched the megaphone on so that the alarm then can say, wow, 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 wow. Then she told the driver that Abe, make 120. So we rushed with speed over 120 using that megaphone in our Land Cruiser, changed it to ambulance. And then we were saying, wow, 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 wow. We drove to Nyagatare district in 40 kilometers in less than, I think, 10 minutes. So luckily enough, we reached there. She rushed into hospital. She grabbed the machine, I don't know, is it a suction machine, something like that, which helped the baby. Then next few minutes, the baby started crying. Then in the next like 1 minute, 5 minutes, the baby was okay. Then later, another ARC vehicle came with our nurse, with the mother, who had not delivered the placenta. So the mother also joined the baby at the hospital and they all got well. So that was 30 years ago, and now I believe that baby might have grown into another woman who has babies. So I called, then Margaret told me one thing which I never forget, because she said, I told her, Margaret, don't you think probably would overrun the road? She said, Eugene, you must understand this. This is how emergency works. We are in emergency, we are humanitarian emergency. We have to save someone's life. So I realized that, and that's what now we build on to make sure that whatever we are delivering to our people who have now become our customers is something really very important. And that's how we dedicated ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eugene. Now we know that you can also become an ambulance, a driving ambulance. It's part of the skills we gather as being humanitarian workers. I want to close this panel by saying thank you very much to all the experiences that you have shared with us today. Felipe, Zora, Eugene, and all the teams who are joining from different offices. We can see you and we value your contribution to Alight Rwanda. I'd like to pass the mantle back to Zainab to tell us what are the next steps forward. Thank you very much, our panelists. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Eunice, and thank you to our panelists. I do think that it would be a shame to have Eunice here and not ask her any questions as the executive director. So I do have one question for you, Eunice.
Okay.
On your amazing team, how have the contributions of Alight Rwanda staff been integral to its success?
One of the key things that I think we have valued a lot is the contribution of our team members in making Alight what it is. They share experiences on a daily basis. We have a WhatsApp chat where each of them is trying to shine in whatever they are delivering. They are saying every day, we are not our challenges. We know that the sector has changed a lot, and we are ready to evolve with how, in order for us to continue providing services to our customers. They are the best encouragement that I have gotten. But one of the key things that really stands out with the Alight Rwanda staff is their ability to coil themselves and really support customers. How they embraced co-creation is really amazing. The innovation that comes from the different work that they do. I could never ask for a better team. I'm proud of what we do, and I'm proud of the future that we have. And I'm looking forward to have that connection with them, where we can continue to serve our customers even much more broadly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eunice. And I do want to shout out, I did see that our CEO, Jocelyn, is here. So welcome, Jocelyn.
Wonderful.
So thank you, Eunice. And we now want to open it up to a little Q&A. So if anyone has questions, please drop them in the chat. This is an opportunity to dive deeper into today's discussion, ask any follow-up questions. So please don't hesitate to drop your questions. We did get a couple questions in advance. So the first audience question we have, and this can go to any of our panelists, is what do you feel is the legacy of Alight's work in Rwanda 30 years in? What do you want people to remember about Alight?
I can jump in and share some perspective. I think what's important is to acknowledge that the work is hard, but it matters and that it's making a difference. And it's not just Alight Rwanda on our own doing this work. It's through partnerships with the government, with various funding agencies, with local partners. Rwanda has so much to offer. It's not just this beautiful country of 1,000 hills with amazing coffee, clean, beautiful. It's also a country that is leading in so many different ways. The country has been a pioneer in equal gender representation in politics, with I think over 60% of parliamentary seats being held by women. Over the last 30 years, there's been a lot of significant change with not just how the humanitarian sector has been responding from an emergency lens to more of a resiliency and long-term sustainability lens, but it's growing and showing up in a way where every industry from international aid to the humanitarian sector can thrive. And so the work is hard, but it matters, is what I would say.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Zora. Anyone else want to jump in?
I'd like to ask a question, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
Hi, everybody, and Muraho. I'm so happy to be here, joining everybody from Minneapolis, Minnesota. So this is quite a treat to see some familiar faces. I've had the chance to meet some of you. I'm hoping to meet some of you in the future as well. I have a question first for Eugene specifically, and then more in general to the amazing panels who have made it here. So the general question to everybody I want to answer is, what are some of the challenges that Alight Rwanda continues to face with serving 100 or more thousand refugees almost 30 years later? I'd love to hear some of those challenges. And then for you, Eugene, I understand that you've been working with Alight Rwanda for close to 30 years now. I would like to know from your experience, what do you see as the solution to some of the problems that a lot of these IDPs and refugees are facing? More specifically, I would like to know your take whether or not the ultimate solution is if everybody could move back to their home countries, so Burundi as well as or if we'll have to settle for resettlement for people in the US or the Nordic country.
Hello?
Yes. Should I repeat that question?
Hello?
I think we got it, and thank you very much for your wonderful question. One of the key challenges that we face is to reinvent ourselves in the wake of sustainability. In the last 2 years, Alight Rwanda has had to re-strategize its approach in supporting displaced persons. We want to align ourselves with the government of Rwanda priorities. And this has enabled us to refocus and think about graduating displaced persons from dependence on aid to them being able to be self-reliant. Some of the approaches we have adopted includes giving them skills that are life skills that will enable them to generate income, but also skills that will enable most of the displaced persons to really open up opportunities, pathways, whether for employment, for business, and for other income-generating activities that will enable them to be self-reliant. This is the direction that the government of Rwanda has taken, and we are aligning ourselves as such. We are also seeking partnerships with other like-minded partners and donors and organizations to be a part of this journey. I'm happy to see some of the partners that we are collaborating as consortiums, and also some of the donors that have been very interested in financing our activities. We know that the future is bright if people can be self-reliant, and that is the direction we are taking in Alight Rwanda.
Thank you, Eunice. And thank you, John, for your question. I know you posed it to Eugene, but I'm wondering also if maybe Felipe has a perspective coming from the government of what the solution is for displaced people, repatriation or resettlement.
Thank you. You know, we consider all the options as durable solutions to the refugees, because, you know, there is no one solution that fits all. This is why we keep all the alternatives viable and feasible as the situation changes. So we do have initiatives to facilitate repatriation, but also we are glad that we are working with the different stakeholders and partners to also find resettlement opportunities to some of the refugees. The repatriation, the local integration is also an option, but on this one, as I mentioned earlier, we are much more looking at a gradual integration, going through, first of all, a first step of socio-economic integration, and then people will feel safe and pleased to consider staying in Rwanda. Some of them are choosing that option, but we believe whatever durable solution we consider, we have an imperative to bring future perspective, future possibilities to our refugees. So we can't wait for years to allow a lady or a gentleman to start building his or her life, and we can't really maintain them into this humanitarian situation. You know, some of them have been refugees for the last 25, 27 years. So we shouldn't be continuing speaking about humanitarian interventions without also linking to the development pathways. So this is what I think we are exploring with our partners, with UNHCR and other stakeholders, and we believe this is the way to go in providing a dignified pathway to the situation of being a refugee or asylum seeker. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Felipe. We did want to move on from our Q&A and into a bit of a community story sharing. So now that you guys all listened to our panelists, we do want to open the floor to all of you.
Excuse me, Zainab. This is Aisa to UNHCR.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay,
Yes.
I was about to switch off, but then I was listening very interestingly about these solutions. Let me put my camera. Is it okay? Anyway, yeah, here I am.
See you.
Yes, no, I fully agree with what has been said. Thanks, John, for the question, because we're looking for solutions, indeed. And I think what has been said already by PS Minema is much very squarely with what UNHCR is aspiring for these refugees. But one thing that we don't say, although usually, is that the best solution is to have peace in this country, in their countries, is for them to go back. Of course, we as humanitarian agencies, we don't have that leverage so much, but I think our respective countries that, you know, we belong to, whether it's US, it's European countries, the whole international community has a role to play into making sure that the country of origin of these asylum seekers or refugees or displaced populations can go back home, because that's the most durable one, and that's where they belong to, actually. So if we're looking for the most durable solution, for me, that is a peace back home. And while that is being done, we know that it's very politically charged and so forth, with some agendas here and there. What we are doing here together as all stakeholders here is to make sure that these refugees gain back their dignity and their lives, they take it in their own hands. That's what PS was just talking about. How do we empower them? How do we capacitate them? How do we give them back their dignity, skills, so that they can take back their lives? That's what we are all trying to do in a very innovative way, but in a very also creative manner, so that the displaced can have a life while the countries are trying to get back to their feet. Just wanted to add that perspective. Yes, livelihoods, yes, skills, yes, many things done while we are in asylum or in exile, but the best one is really, the favored one is going back home in a peaceful country. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We couldn't agree more. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. So we did want to open the floor to anyone in the audience, anyone part of the Alight family who wants to share any well wishes or any stories about their experience with Alight. So let's see, maybe we can get hands up if anybody wants to share. Maybe we can start with a team member to kind of break the ice. Okay, Jacques, please come off mute and talk to us.
Sure. So hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So mine is very quick share. Is that when I look back, I see over the 30 years, I've taken 10. So that's a great thing, you know. So I joined Alight as a very young adult, and then a few gray hair have come, you know, in the face, and it's amazing. And to see how we have grown, you know, we become like, you know, parents, and some of us, we came when we were very young. But what I see that I joined Alight when we were working for refugees. That was the spirit, and we achieved a lot. But I can say now over time, there's a lot of milestone. But for me, a big milestone that I see in my journey of humanitarian work for the past 10 years is how now we took a journey of rebranding, but also it's more of change of philosophy, where we start to work with the displaced people, and that's co-creation just come in that spirit. And for me, that was a turning point of the rethinking of the humanitarian intervention that everyone should be thinking about, because it's a transitional situation. It's not a permanent situation. And how, when you say that no one have lived less than 17 years, we know people have been living like 30 years. Some of us were actual born refugees, and it just happened that the situation have changed. So we have that heart. And I think that was a turning point when Alight started to work with the displaced, for the displaced people. And for me, that's something I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I couldn't agree more. I think when we first did the rebrand of Alight, it came with so much new terminology. And I think we actually spoke a lot of it into existence. We named it and then we became it in some ways. So I think that's really interesting. Chantal, I see your hand is up also. Chantal, you can come off mute and share with us.
I think while we wait for Chantal, maybe I can share a little bit about my story. I think it relates to this in many ways. So I actually was born and raised in Rwanda and brought up to the Nyabiheke refugee camp as it was being built. So I have that connection to Alight, and I think each and everyone who's involved in this seminar today should be incredibly proud of themselves because of people like me who really represent the success that comes with the work that you guys do every day. Seriously, it means a lot, and I hope you can see it on my face today. I am now a university student studying law in the United States after relocating about 12 years ago. And I simply couldn't be here if it wasn't for Alight and the work that you guys do, as well as the UNHCR, the government of Rwanda. So, just wanted to chime in and say, your work does not go unnoticed. It is very much appreciated. And I hope you can see it on my face. Thank you so much for allowing me.
Thank you, John. We really appreciate that. I think so many of us have some level of a refugee experience. I'm born to two Somali refugees and was touched by so many different organizations that supported our family through our journey. Do we have anyone else who wants to share?
Zainab, I wanted to give you a quick heads up. This is Zora, that our CEO is actually in another meeting. She had to hop to another one. She's hopping back off because she wanted to share a special message with everyone here. So just as a heads up that she will be online again in just a moment, and we would love to maybe make some space for a few remarks from her.
Okay. Maybe what we can do is share some of our upcoming events. And then when we see Jocelyn, we can give her, oh, Jocelyn, we see you there. We would love to give you the floor to share any remarks.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations all for an incredible 30 years. I'm so proud of all the amazing work that the team in Rwanda has been doing and really co-creating with our customers, the displaced people from many surrounding countries for so many years. I had the opportunity, like Zora, to visit about a year ago and was just so impressed by the livelihood programs, by the work with women and girls, by the work with new arrivals, as well as families who have been long-standing residents of many of the communities where Alight works. And we had the opportunity to engage in a volunteering day and helped to build the house for a widow. And it was just such an incredible moment to see how the Alight team was able to mobilize the members of the community and their families to all contribute and chip in and really serve those who are most in need. And so I'm just incredibly proud of both the innovation that has happened through the Alight Rwanda team that's really been done through processes around human-centered design and co-creation and driven by insights. And I'm just really impressed by the high quality implementation and the delivery of services that the team continues to provide to our customers across the country. So congratulations all, and to those of you who have been supporters to Alight's incredible work in Rwanda, thank you so much for your continued support. We couldn't do this work without you. And we have amazing partners, as we've heard from today, who have also made this work possible over the years, and we couldn't have done it without all of you. So we look forward to more years as we work to graduate refugees and displaced people into abundant lives that are self-directed by them and follow their pursuits. And so thank you all again, and congratulations for an amazing 30 years.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. I think I can speak for the Rwanda team when I say thank you so much for your leadership, and to all of the leadership that the Rwanda team has had throughout the 3 decades that have, brought us to this point of celebrating such a huge milestone. I do want to say a big thank you to all of the speakers today for their valuable insights, and to everyone who joined us today to celebrate Alight Rwanda. The panel discussion was fantastic. So insightful, and I hope that this is just the beginning of a lot of conversations we have talking about the great work that Alight is doing in Rwanda. I'm also excited to share what is coming up next at Alight. Maybe we can pull those things up. Great. So in Rwanda, we'll be donating medical items to Nabeheke and Karehe district hospitals in the first week of September. So you can stay tuned for updates by following Alight Rwanda on social media. We'll also share the links to the social media. Alight Rwanda is very active, sharing amazing updates from what the team is doing on the ground. On September 19th, please save the date for our next Alight Global Perspectives webinar. It's titled Changing Minds, Changing Lives, Social Bonds and the Refugee Journey. And lastly, later this year on October 23rd, we'll be hosting our biggest event of the year, the Spark Joy Soiree in Minneapolis. So we hope you can join us. For more details, you can see the chat, and we'll also be sharing links out following this call. I want to say thank you all again for joining us and participating in today's webinar. We truly appreciate your time and insights. And on behalf of all of the other Alight enterprises, we want to congratulate the Alight Rwanda team for this huge milestone. We hope to one day be sitting in your shoes celebrating 30 years in our respective country programs. I do want to thank our panelists, Felipe, Zora, and Eugene. And of course, Eunice for moderating today, and of course, her excellent leadership of the Rwanda enterprise. I also do want to give a special thank you to Betty and Jacques, who worked behind the scenes to put this event together, and the Alight Global team that offered their logistical support.